Hey guys, welcome to On Two Wheels. You might be thinking you're ready for that brand new showroom shiny motorcycle, but it's easy to be overwhelmed by all the options.
Yeah, if that's the case, sit back and enjoy this episode because we're going to help narrow down your choices with 5 of our favorite new bikes. If you watched our last episode, you know that we purchased motorcycles and gear for under $1,000 just to prove that it can be done.
And we totally support that concept, the idea of purchasing a used motorcycle as your first bike. Then again, maybe you just can't get the idea of fresh paint and fresh chrome out of your head. You want that sweet new warranty and that clutch lever in its original shape. But there's lots of motorcycles and types of motorcycling, so it can be hard to know where to start.
Thankfully, we've had the opportunity to ride a lot of bikes, so to help simplify things, we've chosen our favorite machines from 5 basic categories.
Not only that, we're keeping the price between $5,000 and $10,000 because, frankly, it's easy to recommend an $18,000 bike.
Yep. And to kick things off is not only the best bike in its category, it's one of the best bikes we've ridden in a long time, and it's a motorcycle that we recommend constantly.
When a new rider comes to us and they want to know what bike they should buy, something from the naked bike category is pretty much always at the top of the list. Naked bikes are comfortable, they've got great styling, and they typically have pretty feisty personalities. And when it comes to a fun, easy to ride motorcycle with an upright riding position, Yamaha's FZ-07 is a great buy. This bike has awesome handling and a super punchy engine, and get this, it's only $6,990 bucks.
$7,000 is a heck of a deal for a bike this good. The FZ-07 weighs just 400 pounds, which means it's really responsive, and the brakes and suspension are definitely well above average. So, while 65 horsepower doesn't sound like a lot, the FZ-07 is surprisingly quick, and surprisingly willing to lift the front wheel. The FZ-07 is on the smaller side physically, so it might not be the best fit for larger riders, but in that case, there's always the FZ-09. If you're sized right for the FZ-07, we can't recommend it enough.
The FZ-07 is a terrific bike and a great buy, but for all its performance and versatility, there are some things it can't do. For example, you're not likely to blend in with or get much street cred from the fringe and bandana crowd.
For that, you're going to need a cruiser. And if it's a cruiser you need, you're going to want a Harley-Davidson. This isn't just a motorcycle. This is a big fat slice of baseball and apple pie right here. This is the 4th of July on 2 wheels, forged in the heart of Mount Rushmore and bleeding eagle's blood. It's a cruiser, is what it is. And this is what it's best at, just cruising. Some bikes are best when they're jumping, other bikes are best when they're wheeling. Some bikes are fun to fly through a set of corners. But this Harley, this is where it lives, right here. Moseying along, no particular place to be. You might think that the Harley is a predictable choice, but actually there are lots of options in this category. You could get a Star Bolt, a Kawasaki Vulcan, or a Triumph America, all good bikes. They all have low seat heights and start in the same price range as the Iron, which, by the way, is $8849 without ABS. But we always find ourselves drawn to the 883 because it's authentic. And if you are after that cruiser experience, why not do it with the iconic American V-Twin? Then again, maybe moseying along at this pace isn't really your thing. Maybe you grew up in the mountains, or maybe you live near a bunch of trails that you want to explore. In any case, it's important to remember that there's lots of good motorcycling to be had away from the pavement as well.
Boy, ain't that the truth. If getting your boots dirty exploring the great outdoors sounds appealing, a dual sport might be the right bike for you. Embracing your adventurous side with some long travel suspension and big wheels is a ton of fun, and it's a great way to improve your skills as a rider. And when it comes to having fun on pavement and off, we're quick to recommend Suzuki's DRZ-400S.
Off-road riding has spawned more talented, badass riders than any of motorcycling's other disciplines. That's because riding in the dirt teaches you finesse and allows you to play on the edge of traction without the consequences of sliding out in the street. And a dual sport bike means you can enjoy any riding surface all in the same machine. The DRZ has plenty of power for highway use, yet it's still light enough to thoroughly enjoy off-road. We're also huge fans of Honda's little CRF 250L and the larger, absolutely bulletproof KLR 650, but Suzuki splits the difference between the two, all for $6,600. It's as light as the CRF and nearly as powerful as the KLR, which makes it great for daily riding, as well as those weekend joyrides in the dirt.
Every time I ride a dual sport, I always have a great time. These are perfect bikes for adventure. So if you think you're going to ride even a little bit of dirt, do yourself a favor and get a dual sport. But if you think that you might do a track day at some point, or you're more into leaning through corners, there's definitely a better bike for you.
Kind of sounds like you're talking about a sport bike.
Oh, hey, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, I'd love to hang around, but I'm off. Absolutely, positively. If you want to tear through canyons and rage down some twisty roads, then you are definitely going to want a sport bike. Fortunately, there are lots of great options, including 3 competitors to the KTM RC390 from Japan. All good options, but we tend to lean towards the KTM because it has the most horsepower, it's got switchable ABS, and it's kind of sexy, it's kind of different. It's European after all.
What consistently amazes us about the RC390 is how much fun it is to ride, even if you're an expert. Yeah, you can buy a used 600 or 1000 if you want, but the way you'll actually learn to go through corners well is by riding a bike with around 40 horsepower, like this one. You'll be less focused on how fast the bike is and more focused on how much fun you're having and how much you're learning. This KTM might be small, but as sport bikes go, it's as pure as they come, and the perfect gateway drug to the sweet needle of carving corners.
Okay, so we've looked at an awesome naked bike, a capable dual sport, an easygoing cruiser, and this nimble little sport bike. But what do you do if you want just a little bit of everything? You want that pizza supreme of motorcycles. Well, wouldn't you know it? Such a pizza exists. Haha, yeah, here it is. Let's go.
Hey man, get out of here. This is my scene.
All right. You're no fun.
You know, a lot of manufacturers try and combine the attributes of a bunch of different motorcycles into one bike, but no one does it as well or as affordably as Kawasaki with the Versys 650. This bike is super comfortable with tons of legroom and a wide handlebar and pretty comprehensive wind protection, and it's also got fairly sophisticated suspension and really good brakes. And while the engine isn't super powerful, it's got plenty of oomph.
The Versys consistently ranks at the top of our list of best buys because it's a really good bike, and for 2015 it got a bunch of great upgrades like new bodywork and suspension. It's not as rambunctious or stylish as a naked bike, but it's still great looking and has a fairly feisty personality. It's also not going to get a lot of love from your cruiser friends, and it's not designed for off-road riding, but you can still go cruising or exploring on it. And while the Versys isn't as aggressive as a sport bike, it will still happily tear up a twisty back road. If versatility and efficiency is what you're after, the Versys is the way to go. And did I mention it's only $8 grand? That's not a lot of money to pay for a brand new bike that can do so much.
Truth is, none of these bikes will break the bank, and they're all great at what they do. No matter how you want to enjoy motorcycles, no matter where you want to enjoy motorcycles, there's a winner in this group. Really, the only bad news is that you probably can't have them all, and that means you'll need to answer the larger question. What kind of motorcyclist do you want to be?
That's a great question. Ari Henning, road test editor, which one would you have?
Ooh, well, you know, my motorcycling experience has got to be thrilling, it's got to be fun. I'm looking for excitement, and honestly, Yamaha's FZ-07 is a kick-ass motorcycle for the price. I mean, I love the handling, brakes and suspension are well above average for the price, and honestly, that engine is just, man, it's an impressive little mill.
It's excellent. Plus, it looks cool.
Yeah, it looks bitchin'.
Yeah.
What about you, man? What would you pick up?
I have to say, the biggest surprise for me was that Iron 883. As you know, cruisers don't really speak to my interest, but every time I ride a Harley, I think, yeah, this is cool, I get it. Riding every day though, in lots of different conditions, I'm getting that Versys 650. It's equipped so well, the suspension's good, brakes good, aerodynamics are good, it's tall, it fits me well, and it's got an $800 option for saddlebags, which are also awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what though? All these bikes deliver a great little slice of motorcycling. Honestly, that's why I brought them all together.
Boy howdy. That's it for this episode, guys. Check back in 1 month's time for more On Two Wheels.
And for that, little FZ-09 kicks a lot of ass, man. That thing's got a fantastic engine. It's got great handling. What the f***? That was good stuff.
You said FZ-09.
Did I really?
Yeah. So much conviction. Yeah. And you're like, that FZ-09, I gotta say. Just in time
It's
for
a
me
Freudian
to be
slip, man.
I'd have the Tuono. It's
Yeah,
just awesome.
give me that $20,000 bike.
I mean, that's the Yamaha's fault. That's not even your fault.
They're naming bikes so close together.
Shame on you, Yamaha.